Okay, now in the world of grade 10, you do these nice right angle triangles, right? Used to be grade 9, and then when you took it out of grade 9, and all of them grade 9 math teachers were mad because that was the one unit that all the students did really well on, like all the students, right? I mean, it was trig, 3 formulas, SOHCAHTOA, and then just labeling my triangle opposite adjacent hypotenuse. I mean, once I got that, and it was good, okay? Now, we're going to be learning 2 new laws that don't deal with right angle triangles. Because let's face it, the world does not just have right angle triangles all over the place, okay? There's what's called oblique triangles, where you have an angle, or triangle has, angles where all of them are not 90, okay? Now, we're going to be learning 2 laws, the sine law and the cosine law. Okay. Now the cosine law is also called the cos law, but just don't leave it in the sun too long. Get it? The coleslaw. Mayo goes bad. You'll get food poisoning. Okay. So I'm going to call it the cosine law because every time I call it the cos law, you're going to think of that very funny joke. And then the class gets all, and then, we lose focus, okay? There are 2 types of things that you look for. If you can do 2 loops, well, first of all, if it's a right angle triangle, do SOHCAHTOA. If it's not a right angle triangle, you have 2 options. You can use the sine law, where you do 2 loops, or you do the cos law, where you use a fork. That's not even a joke, it's real, okay? So you'll see, I'll show you, it always makes a fork. Like a fork you'd eat with? A fork for the coleslaw? Got that? Everyone with me? You guys okay? Out there? Like, seriously, breathe. That game really got you stressed out, eh? You guys gotta relax. Just math. So, today I'm gonna teach you the sine law. And even in the last class, I'm like, yeah, the sine law's really simple. It's like easier than SOHCAHTOA. And then I do the sine law, and then 3 students go, is that it? Like, is that it? Yeah, that's it. There it is, the sine law, okay? And you could even use the sine law for right angle triangles, okay? So anyway, today might be one of those days, because yesterday was kind of like, oh crap, that's a lot to know, okay? Today is going to be one little formula, okay? And you're going to do 2 loops, and loops are fun, right? Drawing loops. It's a good time. So it's just, it's a good day to come. Okay, good day to be here. Now let's just do a little review of these right angle triangles. Now, which one would you use to find x? So right angle triangles, we're using SOHCAHTOA. Which one would you use? Sine? Why? Okay, you have the opposite and hypotenuse. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there's this whole thing of math questions that math teachers have submitted, and there's even a T-shirt that has a question just like this, where it says, the question says find x, and a student wrote this one time on a test. That's what he wrote. Okay, it's right here. And then he moved on to the next one. Okay, there's even a T-shirt like that. And this question reminds me of it because I think it is this triangle. Okay, so anyway, you'll get a good chuckle, but you will not get any marks for that. So we're going to use sine. Now, why? There's 3 sides. The hypotenuse, okay, yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm not going to screw the hypotenuse up. That's that long one, and it doesn't touch the right angle. But some people screw up the opposite and adjacent, right? Now, the opposite is the only one that if you were at x, you could actually shoot an arrow to. I mean, it would skim the other 2 sides if you're in this concrete building, okay? And so that's always your opposite, right? Your adjacent touches the angle in the 90, and your hypotenuse, well, it is across from the right angle triangle, or right angle, sorry, and it is the longest of all 3 sides. So That's how I would always, when I taught this, I was like, okay, I want it labeled. I'd give 4 marks for each one. Now, which one would you pick? Okay, because I'm going to give you a mark just if you pick me. These are 4 marks each. Okay, label your triangle. Now, what are you're gonna sine? Okay, so you write this: sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse, and I'd give a mark for that. Why? Because there's 3 formulas to pick. I'm going to give you a mark if you pick the right one. Okay. And then I'm going to give you a mark if you substitute everything correctly. So this would be sine x equals 8 over 14. And I'd give you a mark for that. So 3 of your 4 marks are done without even picking up a calculator. Okay? Now, 2 things you really, really got to remember when you do these. Especially as soon as we're writing a test, you're going to clear your calculator, you're going to come in, you're going to sit down, and you're going to go you're going to get that unit circle down. I got to get the unit circle down because it's on I know it's on there, and geez, I'm going to forget it, so I'm going to get it on there. And then you're going to do like 10 questions, and then you're like, crap, I can't get any of these, I'm so frustrated. And then I'm going to go, you guys make sure you're in degree mode, and you're going to go, oh crap, I did 10 questions in radian mode, okay? So make sure you're in degree mode. The second thing is, if you're finding an angle, what's different about this question? You got to use second sine, which is inverse sine, because when you find an angle, just like when you use the sine law, if you're finding an angle, you must do inverse sine or second sine, and you get x equal how many degrees? 35 degrees. Okay, pretty easy. And you guys probably think back to math last year and you're like, okay, this is the one thing I did get. I had trouble with this factoring, that really sucked, but I really got this, okay? So I'm not going to do another one, but you can tell for B, which one would you use? Cos, right? Because you know you're adjacent. You know your hypotenuse. Okay, let's turn the page and let's talk about the sine law. Now the sine law is for those kind of triangles. And those kind of triangles, I mean, they're oblique, okay? It means there's no right angle in there. So let's deal with all the other triangles in the world that are not nice little corners, okay? So this triangle, we've got this formula. Now, I do want to talk about something. See this triangle ABC? Those big letters are always given for angles. Uppercase, capitals, okay? Those are given for the angles. Sides are always given by the lowercase, okay? Now, the way you identify sides is the side is always opposite its angle. So, see how these two are opposite? This would be side A. This would be side C, and this would be side B, okay? So, did you do that last year? No? Okay, so now you know. So angles always uppercase, sides lowercase, and sides are always opposite their angle. Again, just learning the language, right? Learning all these little things, it does make life a little bit easier when you're doing these questions. Now, from this, we're going to be looking for 2 loops. Now, when you get 2 loops, you're going to use 2 of these 3 equaling each other. Or if you want, you can flip each, as long as you see how in both of them, sides always stay in the same level, and angles always stay in the same level. Okay? Don't have A over sine A equals sine B over B. Okay, don't do that. A over sine A equals B over sine B. Okay? Now you're only going to use 2 of these. You don't need all 3 of them. Okay? And I'm going to explain to you when we do an example, because these are best taught with examples. Okay? So let's not waste any time. Let's do one. Okay. Now, if you're as bad as me, you see a question, you dive right into it, right? Instead of slowing down and going, okay, do I have all the information on my diagram? Now, look at that diagram. look at the sentence above. Is there anything in the sentence that I could put in that diagram? Or is there anything, because I know something, I could put in the diagram? We could label the sides, right? So I would call this B, and I would call this A, and I would call this C. Anything else before I go on? Obviously, I'm fishing for something, so there must be something else. Why is he even talking about that? There's something else I can put on there. Yep. You do, sorry? You have angle C and side C, yeah. But what is not on this diagram right now that I could put in there and be accurate? Yeah? You can do angle B, could you not? Now, there are some questions that to get the two loops, you have to do that first. But some people look at it and go, oh, I can't do two loops, right? Okay, so it is angle B. How do you find it? Like, how could you find angle B? You just get your protractor out? Like what? Yeah, every triangle adds up to 180. Every single one, okay? So to find angle B, you just go 180 minus 75 minus 35, okay? And what do we get? 70, okay? And I'll be honest, we don't need it for this one. But I'll tell you, do that first all the time. Get anything that you possibly can, and then you're probably going to find that little piece of information that's missing, that when you get out in the hallway, you guys should hear yourself as soon as you get out of the test. What'd you get for 2? What'd you get for 2? I couldn't even do 2. Oh, you had to find your angle first. No, I didn't even thought of that. That sucks so much. I knew that, right? That's the stuff that goes on as soon as you walk out of here, okay? So, and you wait till the diploma. Everyone gets out in the atrium, and students even know their marks before, because they check them with everybody, right? And believe me, if 5 people have it right, then they come to me and they're like, "Is this the right answer? Is this the right answer?" Then you have, and you know, if you're fighting for yourself, you're like putting out good arguments and things like that. But it's pretty intense after the diploma. Now, what I need to do is I need to find length BC. Okay, length BC, AKA, is length A. Does everybody see that? This is actually my unknown. Now, to be able to use the sine law, you need to do one complete loop with an angle and its side, and one loop with an angle and then just one unknown. If out of 2 loops you have 3 out of the 4, you're going to get it. Now, because I'm looking for A, I'm going to do this. A over sine A equals C over sine C. Okay, so I want you to see what I did. Now, I could have done sine A over A equals sine C over C too. I could have done that. Why did I do it this way? I purposely, in my head, make the unknown upper left. Because you know how to solve an unknown? It's got to be by itself. It has to be up top. So why don't I do that? If I actually put it on the bottom right away, I'm making work for myself. Right? So it's kind of being proactive. Okay? I don't know if any of you guys play chess, but that's how you have to be 3 moves ahead every time when you play chess. And then you got to be aware of the one that's coming right now, right? It's a hard game to play because sometimes you get 3 moves ahead and you forget, you don't even see your queen's about to get knocked the next one. It's very frustrating, right? But if you're thinking ahead, you're going, okay, this is my unknown. So I always try to put my unknown up here. It does make life simpler. Okay, now I'm just going to put stuff in. So A, I don't know, over sine 75 equals C is 12.50 over sine 35. Now remember what I said. If you want to solve for A, you have to make it, holy crap, you have to make it alone and upper left. Okay, I got it upper left. I got to make it alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it up here because I can. Okay? All I'm going to do is move it up there. Sine 75. Okay? I don't even need this bracket. So now all you have to do is put this into your calculator. Now open a bracket. You've got to put that. So you open a bracket, 12.50 times sine 75. Now close, after the 75 you have to close it, and then you do have to do another bracket to keep everything up top. And then divide that by sine 35. If you're in degree mode, you will get the right answer. And the right answer is 21. A equals 21 centimeters. Easy? Okay, let's keep going here because I do not have lots of time. This one here, if I was to do, it wants me to find angle ACB. Angle ACB. So in other words, what am I trying to find? Angle C. Okay, this is my unknown. Okay, this is A, this is B, and this is C. Okay, now I need to do two loops. This one, I know that. Now, the problem with finding, I can't find X, right? Because X and C are both unknowns. Like angle C and C are both unknowns. What do I do here? Pardon me? Can't. It only works in right angle triangles. Yeah, find angle B. What happens if I find angle B? Then I'm going to subtract from 180, right? Like if I find angle B, it's pretty easy to find angle C after that. I know two of the angles out of 180, okay? So sometimes we're like, oh, I'm screwed. Like I can't do anything here. But if you make this your unknown, as soon as you find it, you're going to go, well, 110 plus that, and then subtract 180, and you're good, right? So for this one, I am looking for angle B. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go sine B over B equals sine C over C. B over B. Yeah, A, sorry. That should be A's. Because I do not know any of C right now, or else I wouldn't be doing this. Okay, so let's fill it in. Sine B all over 6 equals sine 110 over 9.4. Okay, now what's the angle with this one? The angle with this one is, I'm finding an angle. If I'm finding an angle, something's going off in my head, use. Okay, so everyone agrees that this 6 is going to come up here, right? Now, this is what you have to do, everybody. You got to go sine, or inverse sine. And a bracket opens for you, right? Yeah? Yeah. So you're going to do this. 6 times sine 110 degrees. Now, make sure you always shut your bracket after that. Divided by 9.4. So, those two are still multiplying and then dividing by the 9.4, but I need to second sign all of that first, or I'm not going to get the right answer, because when finding an angle, you always have to do second sign. Okay? So what is y? What do you get? Get 37 degrees. Okay, so then to find angle C, it's 180 minus angle A, which is 110, minus 37, and I get the angle 33 degrees. Yep. Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying, but yeah, that is probably the right thing to do. But for this one, or for the level we're doing, you'd be okay.
Anna Telesworth, please come to the office.
Okay, let's go to this one. Just now calculate the area of PQR to the nearest. Now you don't know PQR because you used the last one, so I'm going to give you this. Okay, so draw this triangle. This is P, Q, and R. And this is 495.83 meters. This is 440 meters. And this is 65 degrees. The question is, find the area. Now, you may remember even from the exam, 440, or 495.83. Okay, so remember, area equals 1/2 AB. Now, A stands for altitude. How tall is the triangle? Okay, and B stands for the base that it's perpendicular to. Now, this, in case you don't know, this is the altitude. Okay, and this here is the base. But I don't know my altitude. But I can find it using Pythagoras. No, I can't because I don't know this, right? Or I could, but I know all of the base. But do you see this triangle? You have a angle, you have a hypotenuse, and we're looking for opposite, right? So since this is right angle, do opposite. This would be hypotenuse. So this is a sine question. So sine theta, well no, not sine theta, sine 65 degrees equals opposite, I don't know, over hypotenuse, 495.83 meters. Okay, remember these two will multiply. Make sure you always close your bracket after the 65 degrees, or it will try and sine all of that. You don't want it all signed, you just want 65 sine times 495.93. And for just sake of time, I'm going to tell you it is 356.67. Okay, that is your altitude. So now you can find your area. It equals 1/2 times 356.67 times my base is 440 meters. Okay, and then you get 78,500 meters squared. Okay, so that's one that just kind of like, oh, how am I supposed to find that? And then you're always going to have to know SOHCAHTOA. Only works for right angle triangles though. If it's not right angle, you have to use the sine law or the cosine law. So after tomorrow, you will know both of them. Okay? Today you're kind of isolated by those other ones that don't work for either one of them. Okay, so we're doing 1 to 10. Okay, you can omit 7 and 8. Okay, and anytime there's multiple in a question, you can just do every second one. So remember, if you can do 2 loops, and I've given you both scenarios, one where you're finding the angle, one where you're finding the side.
What? Oh yeah, we keep forgetting.